This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. I'm Gary Dick. A key hurdle to expanding the Monroe Convention Center in Bloomington has been cleared. The Monroe County Board of Commissioners has passed an ordinance establishing a capital improvement board that will oversee the expansion project that has been over 6 years in the making. The approval comes nearly 7 months after Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton vetoed a similar plan to create a CIB instead of his preferred route of forming a 501c3 nonprofit to oversee the project. Board of Commissioners President Penny Githens says an expanded convention center will allow the county to take advantage of increased demand.
During the pandemic, I personally was not sure if convention center business was going to come back, and I wasn't sure where I would fall on this particular item. But I attend the Downtown Business Inc. meetings. I attend other public things that are related to our convention center, and business is back, and they're having to turn away businesses or conventions rather that require a larger space, or they're having to turn away conventions that they could accommodate 2 at a time if they had a larger space. And what happens with these kinds of conventions that oftentimes they come during the week when especially our hotels are not at capacity. And so it is a way to fill those hotels, increase the taxes that we can raise to support the convention center.
Massachusetts-based online insurance marketplace EverQuote Inc. is planning to lay off nearly 100 workers in Evansville. In a notice to the state, the company said the move is a result of an organizational restructuring to reduce operating costs. Almost 6,000 softball players and their families will populate the hotels and areas around 2 Indiana ballparks this week for the USSSA Fast Pitch Great Lakes National Championships. The Deaconess Sports Park in Evansville and Newburgh Girls Softball Complex will host games in addition to the Newman Park Athletic Complex in Henderson, Kentucky. It's a tournament expected to have a $2 million economic impact on the region. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. For 25 years, we've had the honor of telling the story of Indiana business. More than 1,300 shows, 8,000 interviews. We've traveled from Valparaiso to Versailles, Fort Wayne to Fort Branch, and everywhere in between. And we are just getting started. Our team is passionate about Indiana business because your story is worth telling. Join us every week as we travel the state to bring you Indiana's story. Inside Indiana Business, 25 years and counting. The Indiana Department of Education wants to make it easier to become a STEM teacher. The department announced Monday it is creating a new Indiana STEM Educator Expansion Initiative that will fund tuition, books, and material fees for prospective STEM teachers. A retired Elkhart teacher has left $1.5 million to Manchester University. Alice Dentler, who died earlier this year, was a Manchester graduate and teacher for more than 30 years in Elkhart schools, that according to a university news release. Blood health company Versity has announced the acquisition of Quantigen, a specialty lab based in Fishers. The deal further expands Versity's clinical trial offerings. Quantigen provides a range of services supporting preclinical and clinical research, as well as clinical diagnostics. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.